Hey everyone, welcome back to the Saksham Vedi channel. In the last video, we discussed about a lot of things on distributed system. But suppose what will happen if you have person A and person B, and person A cannot talk to person B, and person B is not able to talk to person A. They have a communication gap. They have a lot of data. They have lot of data, but they cannot able to communicate between them. Then how happen? They are completely and utterly waste. So that's why communication is important. In the same way, communication is also important when we have multiple computers. When we have multiple computers connected to each other via any protocol. Sorry, why with computer connected with each other, but they are not able to communicate with each other, then how? They are just a piece of local machines. Okay, they are not able to communicate with each other over the internet. So how things works? So on the basic level, we the things or anything happened is like in the basic term. Let's take a basic term. You have internet or data that need to be in your device, or in the form of that, the particular data is traveled to another device. But there is some way, some method through the data is traveling. It follows some methods, or it follows some like ideology to in the way it is traveling. Suppose you're talking to person A to B in English. Then you have some methods like English, how to speak English, in which way have to speak English, what is A, B, C, D, and you both understood English. In that way, also both system A and B must have to know which communication pattern is currently we are using, and how actually it is behaving, like which head what we have to do when the request came, and what we have to do when the response came, and how to analyze the whole situation. This is the complete we need. This is the complete communication between two devices have in sync. So in the context of that, for this we have HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. So this protocol, with the help of this protocol, most of the servers are connected to each other, and they are communicating over the network. And every language have their own way to call executing the HTTP. Okay, Java have theirs, JavaScript have theirs, Golang have theirs, and Python have theirs. Just understand this point, that suppose this is India and this is London, and you have some data that need to be travel India to London via internet. Then the protocol that is follows to travel is HTTP and HTTPS. HTTP is a secured way to like it is an encapsulated data that is traveling over the internet, and HTTP is a raw data. It is not secure, so anyone just s- get your packets in between of that and sniff the packet. It's called a sniffing. Means your data just like leaked or something, you can say, in the mode of travel. Okay, so suppose this is a server 1 and this is a server 2. Okay, now the server 1 is communicating to server 2, and server 2 is communicating to server 1. The protocol they are using to communicate between each other is the HTTP protocol. That's it. That's simple. That's simple. Just understand this thing. Two machine communicating over the internet with the help of some protocols, with the help of some grammar, with the help of some language, you can say the basic layman. And I'm saying language, it's not that language, it's a method, you can say it's a method. It's a HTTP protocol method. We have a different methods also, but for the sake of convenience, let's study first the HTTP thing. Okay, so HTTP the protocol, and you have to understand few things for. So this is our client, and this is your server. Okay. Now client send the data to server. Client send the data to server, which is request. Sorry, asking the data from the server, which is the request. HTTP request. And when server responds some data is called response. So HTTP is also working in a two direction. First is request and other is response. So request and response. Okay. Now first point is HTTP is stateless in nature. Means HTTP is like stateless. Suppose you ask A from a server, then you forget that you asked A. Then you ask B for the server, then you forget you asked B. You ask C from the server, then you forget you asked C. So it's like a one-time connection, then he forget what he asked. He doesn't know the old thing. He doesn't remember anything. He just do at a time and just forget. He doesn't. So it basically it does not have any kind of memory. It does not have any kind of state. That's it. Now, now for any HTTP request, there are three things we have to know: method, header, and body. Method is like uh, you can say which thing is happening here. Like we are asking the data, so get. If we are putting some data, so it will post. And like we are deleting some data, so delete. So it is a method that we are using, that what is the activity this particular HTTP protocol is doing. Header is like suppose you are passing some key value pair of authorization. Like suppose I passed the key admin and value is your 64-bit some key value. Now if this key value is correct, then you have to post. So it is a header, key value pairs. Body is like your JSON payload that you are passing. Like if this key is value is correct and it is a post method, then this particular body that you have to pass, which is a JSON body. So this is a complete HTTP request. Now you push this complete thing to server. Now you push complete this thing to a server. Now server will response from server. Okay, response from the server. Now server responds with status, header, and body. Status is like what is the status of your what is the response, like it's 200, it's 404, it's 500. Header is like you can say it's the key value pair from their side, and body is like suppose you ask from data like get student data, then it's a get the all the student data that we passed, it's we are getting from here. So there are two type of thing we are getting here: request and response from the HTTP. Okay, now let's move forward. So you got my point. So you just understand the basic analogy here, the basic analogy. HTTP is a protocol in which client and server communicate. Client request, server response. If client request, he passes three things. Which thing I explained you. If server responses, he passed three things. Which thing I explained you. What is the thing? First thing is status, header, and methods. And in the same way, I think we have just give me a moment. It's a method, header, and body, and status, header, and body. Okay, now let's move to evaluation of HTTP. So currently we have HTTP 3.0. It started with HTTP 0.9, and HTTP 1 is completely I don't think so it's valid because it's completely unsafe and depreciated. HTTP2 and HTTP3 is good. HTTP2 is a duplex connection. It's a bi-directional connection. HTTP2 is still it's like unidirectional connection, but most of the sites still using HTTP2 in spite of HTTP3. But you can see the in the recent time maybe we can saw the transition in this particular state as well. Okay, okay. Now let's assume a new question here. So you can tell me, you explained me very well. I understand how they communicate. HTTP, how they communicate. But it is not about communication, right? It is not about communication. Like, like HTTP explains us what to do, what request, and what to serve, and everything is related to what. But how actually this web communication happens? Like in the context, you can understand this thing. You know English, and the another person is also understand English. Okay, just understand the analogy. Just be patient here. You in English, and another person is also English. But suppose there is a vacuum. Suppose there is a vacuum. There is no ear in that space. What will happen? Are you able to listen to that person? No, you are not able to listen that person. So in that scenario, what will happen? You cannot communicate. So HTTP tell you what in the way you have to communicate, but actually web communication is a part that how the whole communication is happen. So HTTP is running on the top of the transport protocol. Transport protocol is the same like it's like how actually data move on the internet. Okay, it's a complete TCP IP protocol. Okay, I will explain you that thing also. But let's understand first what is TCP and UDP. It is just a basic thing you have to just, it's a terminology we can say, just using a lot of time. So TCP and UDP. Okay, so suppose you are in the case of TCP, what is happening? It send a message to server and then it's wait server to respond or acknowledge. If if it is wait until the server doesn't respond, it will wait. Suppose you are on a payment page, you are on a Google Pay payment page, Google Pay payment page, you done the payment. Now server is not responded, still you Google Pay said that failed process and everything because its server is still in processing. So ideally you should wait. So in that condition we are using TCP, which suggests you have to wait until the server will respond for your request. So TCP will wait until the server will respond. I will explain you with the help of example. It send a request, there is a wait time which is in synchronization acknowledgement. It acknowledge that thing, then this is the basic first is the connection setup. Then if you see packet one is transferred first packet one, then it's sent to the packet acknowledged, okay, that is acknowledged, then it's packet 2, then it's acknowledged. So there is a two-way connection and it will wait until this server respond. It doesn't like, okay, it's packet, I didn't want to wait. In that condition it is UDP. It doesn't wait, it just send the data and there is a no acknowledge and no confirmation from the server side. Suppose it is in the case of streaming. It a lot of time we saw this thing. We suppose you and your girlfriend are on video call. You and your girlfriend is on video call. Let I make it little more good. Okay, so this is you. So this is just give me a moment. I have to change the pen. Okay, so this is you, suppose, and this is your girlfriend, and you both have on a video call, and suddenly there's a network glitch. You saw this. Suppose he's saying you are good, but there's a glitch. The good is lost. The good is lost. You are das. You doesn't list. It is lost. It's completely lost. It is not recovered. Like until unless she says again you are good, it is lost. And then she said to you, you never listen to me. But actually, it's not you. It's UDP. If it is a TCP, it's not possible to streaming in TCP ideally. We can do it, but it's not ideal. So it's UDP that makes the connection lost, and make it's your internet that makes the connection lost, and eventually UDP just ignore it. The server just ignore it because it doesn't store it. It doesn't acknowledge it, and just you listen what you are. Now you didn't react it. So if you did not react it, if your girlfriend is complimenting you, then eventually, okay, you are in not a good zone. Okay, so it's an example of TCP and UDP. In TCP, server is acknowledging each and every request, and UDP, the server doesn't acknowledge, just it's data transfer between the server and data transfer to the server. Okay, so there is a no acknowledgement from the server side. Okay, that your request is reached or not. So basically, it's good for streaming and stock, and no, it's not for stock, but in streaming it's good. But it is in the case of the payment processing and all that, TCP is reliable. Now I want to explain you the TCP IP model, like how actually these data are traveling over all the internet with the help of, because these are the four fundamental model that use all over the internet to to like in all the data transfer, you can say, from here to there. Okay, so I will want to explain you one by one. Application layer. Application layer is the protocol or the developer layer that is used, like HTTP, WebRTC, gRPC, WebSocket. The way, oh sorry, give me a moment. The way it is a basically, you can say, the layer at the developers layer, you can say, the way where we defined in how our data is transferred to user or to the server, in which way it will be transferred. It is the application layer. Transport layer is basically it's sit on the top of the network layer and say in which way the data will be go to the server, like TCP or UDP, in which way. Understand the point? In which way, like server acknowledged or not, not acknowledged, if for streaming, it depends upon that to TCP and UDP. Network layer is, it's give you the destination, you can say, like what is the best way to go to destination. So basically it's given a IP. Okay, like which is the best way to go to the destination, and it hold a destination IP. Link layer is the, like you have a different towers. Okay, there are different towers through which data travels. So this is termed as a link layer, like the hardware layer through which the actually the data travels to for reaching the destination is the link layer. Okay, you got just a gist. Let's take an example. Let's take a real life scenario, and let's take with the help of a simulator, understand this thing, TCP IP model, how actually the data is transferring. Okay, let I refresh this page. Suppose this is a sender, this is the sender, and this is the receiver. This is the sender and this is the receiver. Now, if you see, there is a layers like physical layer, data link layer, net. There are a lot of, but actually the main, this is the complete OSI model, but the main TCP IP model which is required to you to learn is application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and internet is not internet, is a network layer. Okay, it's a network layer actually, and the link layer. Okay, the physical layer that I told you. Okay, let I take it. Let I send. Hey, How are you? Send message. Now, if you see on the first layer, it is go to it. Actually, it's showing me a complete OSI state, I think. But let's take an example. OSI was a TCP IP. Hmm. Now, if you see, let I reset it and let's send it again. Hey, send message. So sender it is sending and receiver is actually waiting, and it first go to the application layer. Application define the HTTP, which the protocol that you are using. Okay, now it go to the transport layer. The transport layer, the TCP or UDP, the particular method that we are using to transfer the data. Then is a network layer. Network layer, I told you the destination address. Okay. Mm, mm. I think it's not working in a good way to I will explain you, but let I refresh it. Maybe after refreshing it will work in the same good way. Let I send hey again. Send message. Then it's first on the application layer, if you understand. Then it go to the presentation layer. Then it will encrypt the particular data into something. Then it go the session layer, means it's establish the session connection between the server and client to complete the process. Then go to transport layer. Transport layer is like TCP UDP and all that, in which just it create a packet and create a IP header and segment and all that. Then it go to the data link layer. Data link layer is the complete, I explained you, the Wi-Fi or Mac or the MAC address or like the network, Vodafone Geo or whatever the happening behind the scene. Then okay, it's again to go to the OSI, the physical layer, data link layer. Okay, so basically, I will want to explain you in that way. It is go to the sender to receiver. It's completely. I found this website on online. So I think it's created completely with the help of Claude or some kind of AI. That's why it's little hacky, you can say. Not hacky, but it's like an irritating site. A link layer, internet layer, transport layer, application layer. If you see, link layer is Ethernet, Wi-Fi, cellular protocol. Internet layer is IP, IPv4, IPv6. Basically, it's contain all the information of where the destination information. Then if you see, there's a transport layer to TCP, UDP, SCTP is also in a protocol, but you can understand it later. TCP, UDP is the major ones, and like how the things communicate. Then like application is a protocol like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP is the file transfer protocol, SMTP is the like mailing transport protocol, SSH thing, telnet, DNS, DHCP. So this is the uh, application layer, I mean the how the developer defined in which way the particular file or particular data have to communicate over the network. Okay, so I think you got the gist here, like how the TCP and IP model is and how it is working behind the scene and overall. It is like okay. So that's all from my side. I think in this video we understand the communication, how actually communication happen, how actually data transfer, and how actually it go from one server to another server, and how it is very 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 important to having protocols and all these to help server to communicate over each other. And it's not only one protocol, like that we saw an example, like only it's not only HTTP, like we have FTP for file transfer, SMTP for the mailing protocol, and a lot of we can explore that later. But for now we learn this thing, and hope you understand that TCP IP model as well. It is very 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 important. It is an the application layer is basically the HTTP and HTTP one. Yep. So thanks for watching and have a very good day, and hope you love it and like and subscribe my channel.